Welcome back to another journey with the Crypto Foundation. Today we're going to discuss the dollar chart to see if it's supporting a bull or bear case for risk assets. And last, we'll discuss the altcoin markets divided by Bitcoin because we want to answer the question, is it a good time to be swapping into alts, or when may that time be? Let's jump right in. All right, this is the dollar index, DXY. I just want to point out that the DXY is below the 50 Fibonacci area here. It has at one time touched these long-term monthly SMA and EMA moving averages here, and then rallied and has now touched it one more time again. So what's really key here is that if we were going to experience a continued rally, you would hope that the dollar sees continued weakness, and closing below the 50 Fibonacci is a good sign. But this month hasn't closed, right? The month just started, so we're on that monthly candle right now. However, if it does and it tests these lower areas, we could get a continued rally in Bitcoin. But I mean, right there, we're only talking about a few dollar move on the DXY, right? A few percentage from 10. I mean, even here at 102 down to 99. But what we want to watch out for is if candles are closing on the DXY at below both of these moving averages and below the 618. Now, if that happens, I'm assuming Bitcoin price would be quite extended or on its way above or to that 51K level. And that would be indication that we may be testing those previous highs. Now, if this acts as support as it's doing now, right, as it has in the past here, we can look in the past, these moving averages have acted as support. If these act as support, then we're maybe back to the current area being an inflection point for a pivot. So if this is supported and dollar goes up, maybe testing these higher levels, and then next, I mean, this move here, you're talking about into the summer, April, whatever you want to speculate. But if that happens, then that's where we could see that 31 to 26K. Okay. What else? What else do we notice? Okay, we're going to review these indicators below here. This blue one here for the DXY is just it's a momentum indicator, could be applied to any chart. At a high level, this indicator uses periods of rate of change with a moving average. Essentially, that's its calculation. The idea behind it is to smooth out the results and provide a clear signal of major changes in an asset's momentum on the monthly scale. And that gives you this very clear, defined oscillating indicator. And there's a different representation of this indicator, just more color and more detail, where there's these pivot points at the lows, okay, you can see here, and then pivot point to the highs before this lost momentum again. Even though it could rally a bit, it was showing there was a loss of momentum down to this capitulation, and look how long it lasted. These are months, August 20th down to its trough there at May of 2021, and then it didn't get out bullish again until November of 2021. And interestingly enough, this was the first peak of Bitcoin right around that, where was it, April of 2021, right here was the first peak of Bitcoin at 65K. That's right dead center. So I'm thinking, okay, well, we should be able to test that 99. Has there been a time where this indicator was short-lived? Well, there has been, right? What we'd want to see is a curve downwards that continues like this. So if this keeps continuing, even though the DXY had a little pump, it still ended up dropping. So that doesn't look as strong as this one here. You can see the angle on it, and it looks like it's already curving to flatten. And specifically this little green indicator here and this one here, along with the white, these are pivot lows. If a pivot low indicator popped early into here, just like it did here, then maybe that is a short-lived drawdown for the dollar. And if that's the case, then if this starts to curve sideways, and that's all we're going to see is the dollar basing here, right? And I mean, you can't be too upset about that, because if you look at the rally that happened here with the dollar, came back down since October with this drop. We've had a massive rally in alts, and we've had a massive rally with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin was to pivot here and come back down to test the lower levels, then that's not a bad thing, right? It could be a setup for continued upside, or it could just be better entries for a later bull market top. So again, the DXY going up is more bearish, depending on the correlation of the asset, but more bearish for risk assets, generally. And yeah, and that's why I've also identified this area here, risk asset bull market. So if the Dixie comes down here, I believe this is going to be the area that that holds, and it'll be something like that. But that's quite a move for the dollar to end at 91. So keep that in mind. Let's move on to the next chart.